We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Microwave Extravaganza podcast, episode 4. A Wisconsinite and a Canadian walk into a bar. It already sounds bad, doesn't it?
Oh, oops! I have the stream going at the same time. Oops. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, man?
Not too bad. So, with me here today is ShortFatOtaku, and yep, that's him. And question: are you fat, and how much do you love anime?
I'm pretty fat, yeah, and I do like anime. I just don't have time for it anymore. It seems like.
Oh no!
There's too much going on now. I don't really watch it anymore. Like I'm watching My Hero Academia right now. I'm getting caught up on it. I really like Attack on Titan, but
I know. Then the first season was a great starter, but I think they may have slowed it down a little too much. Because I liked their slower pace and that they actually developed the characters. But I'm like, oh, maybe you should have done a little bit of both in what you're doing right now in both seasons. Like, they were kind of the extremes. You know what I
mean? For My Hero Academia?
No. Attack on Titan.
I actually thought that season 2 was far better than season 1.
Oh, no. I wasn't saying it wasn't good. I just meant, like, I would have liked it to have some fast-paced moments a little bit more often. Because I feel like season 1 was just kind of like, well, let's Michael Bay it and just get this shit over with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, I kind of feel the opposite, because season 1 seems like it has really terrible pacing. Season 1 has, like, a bunch of downtime, way too much downtime than's necessary. Meanwhile, season 2 is very tightly paced.
I'm sorry. Do you mean like the second half? Because the first half was just like all adrenaline, and right now, like entire years passed in a single day or whatever. Sorry, episode. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, season 1 was what, like 26 episodes or something, and then season 2 was 12 for Attack on Titan.
Whoops.
Yeah. No, that first season. The first season had the initial training arc, the Trost arc, and then the female Titan arc, and that stuff just seemed like it took for fucking ever to get through. There was, like, in my opinion, there was maybe 18 episodes of content stretched out for two 13-episode blocks. It was kind of ridiculous. Meanwhile, season two was, like, perfectly paced.
I've only been able to see so much because, you know, I'm poor as shit because I'm a millennial. Are you one too?
Just go fucking pirate it, man. It doesn't matter anymore.
I know, but here's the thing. I have a life.
Well, so do I. That's why I don't watch much anime anymore.
I know, but the problem is when you have a life, you don't have time to find out which pirate sites are decent and which ones will give you viruses. And this is the only computer I have. I'm not rich enough to have a better one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend, and here's the kryptonite. He is literally going to college right now for software engineering. So he gives me all these sites that are so great, but they are in languages I would have to go to school to learn. And he could easily show me what to do, but he's full time. Like, I'm not going to tell you the college he goes to. I'm just going to say here in Wisconsin, it is known as the college where you trade your sanity for a degree.
Oh, is it very infested?
Infested? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but probably. Do you say invested? I thought you said like infested. No.
I definitely said infested.
And with like as in like a bug infestation kind of thing?
Yes, as in with SJWs.
No. No, I'm talking. No, this is a good college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As in, like, you trade your set. Like, he came home and said, "I don't want to look at another goddamn number or letter for at least a week." When he came back for certification.
So there's not like protests where people take the teachers hostage and dance around chanting about how white people are terrible.
Oh, I have not seen that. But like I said, he's going to a good college. As in the kind where you're losing your brain, not because people are politically correct, but because the work is just mind-bogglingly like it's like if Jeffrey Dahmer took you back and put acid in your brain. It's like, whoa.
Well, I mean, good for him. He's doing it, so
yeah. But I mean, yeah. Let's first off, I actually wanted to get you on more specifically because you're Canadian.
Yeah.
And yeah, and because I'm going to have Lauren Southern on. Oh well.
I feel like you might have settled a fucking bit.
Sorry, what?
I feel like you might have settled a bit.
No. I like to be diverse. I like to have diversity quotas in my podcast.
I guess the only thing that's non-diverse about me is that I'm male. Everything else is relatively diverse.
I'm
not straight, for example.
You're not straight?
No.
Oh, bi?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because if you're gay, well, then that is exclusive. And don't worry, we'll if you're a conservative gay, well, then we'll just Yianopolis you and just trash you for thinking with your own brain. No.
I'm actually liberal. I'm not a conservative at all.
Really?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
You're just not a liberal in the sense where you want to go to secret meetings and wear a goat mask and fuck some random person, right?
Well, I don't know. There seems to be a very terrible mislabeling of what liberalism is right now.
Oh, I know. I've had a broken-hearted liberal on, so go on though. I want to hear this.
Well, I mean, you get people like liberalism, like the classical liberalism, and which is basically where conservatism came from. They come from the same political roots. It's respect of property rights, it's democracy, it's freedom of speech. It's that sort of stuff. Just that liberals and conservatives had different ideas on how to run government. Liberals have never been the party, or not party. Sorry, liberals have never been the political philosophy of radical revolution. And now, because of colleges and universities going absolutely social justice insane, people say liberal, but they actually mean SJW, and they're two different things.
They mean like leftist, although I don't even know if you want to say leftist, because I've never heard rightist be described for the fascist. I've never heard that, so I usually just say SJW.
Yeah, I mean, classical liberalism is kind of like the centrist position at this point, So I guess I would say I'm a centrist then.
If I may, would you kind of say that classical liberalism was kind of like almost very much similar to conservatism in that they were both pretty much close to the center, but in a way where like liberalists were kind of like the hippie version of the conservative, but they both sat at the same table and said, "Hey, brother, how you doing?"
I mean, kinda. Yeah, I mean, I know in Canada, for example, like we don't have Republicans and Democrats for our two biggest parties. We have liberals and conservatives.
Yeah,
it's very strange in Canada to talk about liberalism because you don't know if you're talking about the party or the philosophy, right?
Or those weird separatists who want to like have Quebec for like only pure French, right, or something like that.
Yeah, there's a Quebec separatist party. And they're absolutely fucking retarded. By the way, JF absolutely fucking retarded. But JF Garapy over on Warski Live, he's a Quebec separatist. And I'm like, how fucking dumb can you be? Do you not recognize that most of your food comes from the Canadian prairies and most of your power comes from the Canadian maritime provinces? Like Quebec has nothing fucking in it. And they're like, well, we want to be.
That's great. That's amazing. Isn't that the first part that the Vikings discovered the Quebec area?
Yeah. They discovered Labrador and Newfoundland, but yeah, that's a similar area, and there's fucking nothing there, man.
So basically, like most of Canada,
it's kind of like the no. There's a lot of stuff in Canada.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think you guys are more concentrated in a certain area, though, right? Like you're more developed than like if you come down. Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
No.
Oh, dude, come down to fucking Water Street. I'll show you an awesome time. It's great. I'm straight, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, we're like, dude, our culture is very much like you because borders, shit, why not? Also, a lot of us actually, because we have a very similar Germanic slash French influenced culture. I know some people think there's no French. There's actually a lot. It's just that it was kind of like they were kind of like the first settlers, and then they just died out, they moved to Canada. So my guess is that obviously the norther you get, the more it's like, yeah, there's nobody here, right?
To a point. Canada's extreme north has like more than its fair share of military stuff going on and science stuff going on, because our Arctic locations just kind of attract that kind of industry, right?
Well, isn't that because there's nobody else there, and you can research things that you can only see up there, like the Arctic Circle, shit like that. But you wouldn't. This is not like a place where people go like, "Hey, yo, bro, I like want to start my music career up in like the freaking Isles on top of Canada below the Arctic Circle."
No, that shit doesn't happen. No, you're right in that there's not much up there aside from those outposts. But when you get like, there are certain parts of Ontario that are south of a fair amount of some of the northern states, because Ontario kind of dips southward into some of those lower latitudes, and also there's a whole chunk of Canada that's a lot more east than the United States.
Wait. Actually, I just want to find out. I'm sorry to interrupt, but hold on.
Yeah. What's up?
How far away is Ontario from Milwaukee?
It's not that far away.
Oh, goddamn Google. Oh, fuck. Wait. Oh, whoops. Sorry. I meant, how far away is Toronto from Milwaukee?
It's not that far. It's far enough, but not that far.
Is 619.2 miles.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so for flight. Oh, wow. I could fly there in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I'm too poor. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, I didn't think of it. But
if you like pull up a map of Canada, for example, you see that there's a giant chunk of Canada that's more east out in the ocean than the United States. A lot of Americans don't really recognize that. Oh
yeah. Well, it's because dude, whatever you've got going on in Canada, it's like 1,000 times more insane here. We're watching for MS-13 to break down our doors. And for those who don't think that Wisconsin is a place for that, no, you go straight down onto the bad area of Milwaukee, and it's just fucking Cholo land. It looks like Sicario.
Yeah, we don't seem to have problems with Mexican gangs, presumably because we're not on the fucking border with Mexico.
No. You just have all those Islamists, am I right?
It's not as many as you'd think. It's not like Europe yet. It hasn't gotten that bad.
Is it kind of like no, compared to 10 years ago, it's completely black and white, but compared to anywhere else in the world, it's pretty much nothing?
It's not even that bad. I think Justin Trudeau is looking at Europe and just masturbating furiously, but I don't think he has the political will to actually get there.
I don't think he has the will to keep it up. Double entendre, am I right?
But yeah, Canada's pretty peaceful.
Oh no, dude. No, dude, literally, our joke here in Wisconsin is you're pretty much the country version of us. Because
we have not as many guns per capita as you guys do.
Well, yeah, because we have that in our constitution. Go on.
Well, Canada has I had to do a video on gun control recently, and I was actually on Sargon's channel, and I did a conversation with him on gun control, so I had to look it up recently. Canada has more guns than most countries, but not as many as the States. However, gun owners per capita have the same amount of guns in Canada as they do in the States.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, we have a drastically lower rate of gun violence, even correcting for population differences. So I think it really is a cultural thing when it comes to the guns, and not so much a gun access thing,
I think you're right. What I will say about this is that the reason why I don't, you see, it was interesting. Everyone says, oh, well, the reason why gun crime goes up is because there's less guns. Well, actually, what I think it is that guns really are not the root of violence. It's not like when you pick up a gun, you say, and the gun just starts speaking, he says, you shall murder children. I think what it is that the biggest common denominator across all boards in U.S. prisons is that the people in there, whether they be private or public prisons, most of them grew up in single mother households. Without a father around, I think that's probably the biggest influencer, but I think that it's kind of like, technically the U.S. government, I think, is very much overgrown, but you can live pretty peacefully in the U.S. if you don't start trouble. It's not so much about like the fact that there's not enough guns out there. I think it's more like if you have a problem, like single motherhood, or if you have gangs or incompatible groups or any things I think do cause violence, it's very hard to defend yourself when you don't have as many gun rights. So, like if you go to the UK, it's not the end of the world. It's not awful. It's bad, but it's not insane. It's not like World War III and the Muslims are just invading like the Ottoman Empire or something. But you can absolutely not deny the fact that a lot of things that do go bad are able to go as bad as they do because no one can do anything about it. You know what I mean?
Well, have you seen recently Sadiq Khan said that there's no reason to carry around knives anymore? Did you see that article? That they're going to implement common sense knife control?
I'm going to allow you to just have fun and just explain that to me. Just make it as fun as you want to be. Screen share if you like. I don't care.
I'm going to try and find the article here. Hold on.
Oh, got it. Guys, even though terrorist attacks are a normal thing in living in the big city, according to me.
That shit. Oh, when he said it was terrorist attacks were part and parcel of living in a big city.
Yeah, exactly. There's more crime, but not even per capita. Dude, Minneapolis, I've gone there twice. You would have to pay someone to stab you. It's so nice there. I would love to move there someday because even though it's a little bit of a hokey-doke weird town, it's a really nice town, dude. And it has twice the population of Milwaukee. I'd say if you combined Madison and Milwaukee, the two biggest cities in Wisconsin, you wouldn't even have half of Minneapolis.
Okay, I got it here. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
In 2017, there were twice as many murders in New York City than in London. This year, the monthly murder rates between New York City and London are equal. And then this says here, London Mayor Sadiq Khan announced a crackdown on knives Sunday in response to the rising levels of violence in London, which recently surpassed New York City's homicide rate for the first time.
Oh, how lovely. How lovely. Take your kid to London, everyone.
Sadiq Khan tweeted, "No excuses. There is never a reason to carry a knife. Anyone who does will be caught and they will feel the full force of the law."
Oh, I think he might be talking about his dick there, but
So in the UK, they've regulated guns basically out of existence. And now there's a rising homicide rate in using knives, and almost all of it is gang-related violence. So now there's like you must have seen the memes on Twitter where people post images of British police doing weapon sweeps, and they find like screwdrivers, and they're like, "This is a deadly weapon. We must confiscate."
I've seen so many of those, but do you mind if I screen share?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is just proof that if people really wanted to, they could build their own guns. Because guess what? This dude did. You see what I'm saying right here?
I don't see a screen share, actually.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, this is the most professional stream on the internet, by the way. See this?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, his name, he went by the name Luddy. He wasn't even a mechanical engineer. He was a dude who literally just knew a lot about like how not guns. He didn't even own guns. He lived in Britain. He just knew a lot about power tools.
Hold on a second. Who's Erica on OkCupid?
Erica on OkCupid? Oh, okay. Whoops, I gotta close that. Hey. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Oh, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm acting.
Are you getting in? Are you getting in there?
I'm Catholic. I wait till marriage.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry.
Well, what are you sorry about that for?
Wait, hold on a second. Does that mean you're a virgin?
Yeah, by choice.
Oh.
But
I mean, frankly, you're not missing much.
It's fun, but it's not like you get $1 billion the second you have sex for the first time, right?
Not really. It's okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Like sex, like everything else, is a skill you have to acquire, right?
Yeah.
So you will be shitty your first time, and so will your partner if it's their first time.
Yeah, but I've agreed to like do stuff like, for instance, I try to be athletic. I really do try to work out. Like I used to be obese. Now I'm still overweight, but I have some loose skin. But honestly, I've lost like I think like 25 pounds, and I've gained about 10 pounds of muscle. So at least from an activity level, I will not just go. Plus, I have looked up videos on the internet about on YouTube about how it's done.
You mean pornography?
No, I really don't mean that. I did that up until I was 17. And no, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to people and say I didn't watch it. No, every single kid who grew up with the internet absolutely did. Even if it was just Laura Craft's triangular boobs, they jerked off to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm not going to lie and say I didn't do it. What I'm saying is I jettisoned that shit out of my life because I realized, why am I doing this? Oh, it's because I'm a beta male who can't get laid. I understand now. Maybe I should work on myself and get a girlfriend. And then when I did, we almost did it. But then I started thinking to myself, do I really want to be like everybody else? In fact, I remember kind of rushing her into it, and she was rushing me. But we were almost naked, and I said, do you just want to wait? And she was so scared. She was like, yeah, yes. And, she was just, and then she kind of tried a few other times, and like, I was just ignoring her, and she was kind of like pulling on my thigh or whatever. Just like, and I realized something, I don't care, dude, if you've had sex before, and you obviously have, because it sounds like you have.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I don't care if most people have sex. What I think you should do, I think anyone should do this. I think you should wait till you find someone you care about. Because I
agree with that.
Yeah. And I think, do you agree with me on this? Too many people have the mindset of losing your virginity is a race, not a competition of who you lose it to.
Actually, the honest truth is the people who care about virginity are the people who still have it. After you've lost it, it's not really a conversation anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, you lose it and you're like, well, it's over. Great. Okay. And like, if you have a long-term girlfriend, like, okay, well, now I can start having sex more often. But I'm thankful for the guys who are just like, I want to lose my virginity on prom night. I found out, oh, now it's over. And if she's not my girlfriend, then it's over for a long time, right?
Not necessarily, but I do agree with you that sex is a lot more fulfilling when you're actually in a relationship. Just like I don't think you need to be married. I think that's a very old-fashioned point of view. But I think that it's better for your mental health in the long term if you actually care about the person you're banging and it's not just someone you've picked up.
Yeah. You're telling me Sheila, who I paid $200 to, doesn't love me back?
Well, if you didn't lose your virginity, what did you pay $200 for?
What?
Did you guys just like play magic cards or something?
I'm joking, dude. You didn't think I was serious, did you?
No. I understood the joke. I was rolling with it.
Oh, whoops. I guess I'm retarded then. I didn't. Why don't you understand the joke? ShortFatOtaku. But like I said, I actually see the thing is, so many people want to make it illegal to do that shit now, like in the Christian community. And I think that's the same. I think everyone saw the Luddy gun by now. I mean, I've had that on screen for a while, so I'm going to move past that. But I think that this is an interesting topic because I made an entire video series. I'm still making it. It's called The Importance of Taboos and Shame. It's a 6-part series. And the idea is just to say, there's nothing wrong with people choosing their own way without having a government telling you, what to do with your life. But with that being said, why is it such a bad thing to have taboos? Like, I think you and I can both agree, regardless of whether, you wait till you're married or even till you're in a relationship with a girlfriend that you're not married to, it's definitely a degenerate quality to see the gay community, specifically in California, think that it's okay to just start giving people HIV and not tell them, shit like that.
Yeah, but and like the thing with taboos is that a taboo really only makes sense if there's actual harm being done when you break the taboo.
Yeah.
And like a lot of old religious taboos, they don't have any actual harm when you break them. I mean, they might have at one point, like the Muslims and the pork thing, that made sense because we didn't have germ theory back in the day, and pig is notorious for making people sick when you eat it and you haven't properly cooked it. So at least for that level of understanding of how the world worked, that makes sense. It doesn't make sense anymore. A lot of taboos are like that, and some of them are just out of date.
Well, that's why I always say the why should always outweigh the how. Because, like, think about it. Part of, I think you and I can both agree, if you're married, you shouldn't cheat on your husband or your wife. Sexual responsibility is something that is throughout the Abrahamic religions, except for, the religion of peace, we'll call it.
Well, that's not true. They just allow multiple wives, but you still can't cheat outside of those marriages.
Yeah, but that's kind of like, I can cheat on my wife with my other wife,
I mean, kind of and kind of not. There's still like a sanctity to their marriages, at least in a religious sense.
Yeah, but you can tell that Muhammad was kind of just making his own fantasy land when he made his religion. It's very guy-centric, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, most religions are, they seem to be, honestly.
Yeah, but I think Christianity is different in that it's guy-centric, but female respecting and loving. Like, if you look at the Christian faith, it doesn't look at women as the ones who should run the household, but it does look at them as the ones who shall be protected, loved, and seen as, like, holy, like the Mary, Mary and stuff like that. As Jesus, like this whole, in Catholicism specifically, we put her up as like this holier woman, that she's that. Do you get what I mean?
No, I get it. And for all the terrible things that that Islamists have done to women, and there has been a lot of terrible things that Islamists have done to women over the years.
Yeah.
There are still parts of the religion that cherish women in some way. I mean, let me just pull it up here. Prophet Muhammad's final sermon before he ascended to heaven.
Just so you know, I can't see your screen. If you're meaning to screen share,
no, I can just read it. It says, "Do treat your women well and be kind to them, for they are your partners and committed helpers." I mean, there's parts of every religion that seem to do that. Like here. "Oh, people, it is true that you have certain rights with regard to your women, but they also have rights over you. Remember that you have taken them as your wives only under a trust from God and with his permission. If they abide by your right, then to them belongs the right to be fed and clothed in kindness." Like, it's obviously people just take the parts of the religion that benefits them, but you can't say that outright there's nothing good in Islam regarding women. There's just very little of it.
I think I could say there's nothing good in canon law. Reason being is, if you look at it, Muhammad said, if I say anything that contradicts what I said in the past, whatever I say now supersedes that.
Oh, yes, but this is from Prophet Muhammad's final sermon. It's the last thing he said.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
He was on some mountain somewhere, and then he said this sermon, and then he mounted a winged horse and flew to heaven. That's the story. So this is from his final sermon.
I'm just wondering how they got the last one, because we both know he didn't fly to heaven, but
yeah, well, there's a lot of things that also claimed were in the Bible that I don't believe either. So it's kind of this, like, I don't think that there was a flood that covered the entire world.
Well, there actually is some scientific evidence about the idea that the flood came after the Ice Age.
There is definitely a lot of ideas that there was a flood, but not a flood that covered every single landmass.
Yeah, and my guess is it was kind of an exaggeration, like an exaggeration of the truth. But that's the thing. I think we can look at Islam and just say, well, Christianity has some pretty significant claims, but they're kind of believable if we look back in this time and age, back to what we know about history now and science. And Islam is just fucking that on steroids mixed with a nice cocktail of insanity. Like,
yeah, I agree.
God claim, like, there are hints in the Bible that the earth is flat in God's eyes, but it's just hints. When you look at the Quran, it's flat out says as the earth is fucking flat. It's like, what?
I remember seeing on fucking Memory TV, if you know what that is.
No. Is that in the US and in Canada? I don't know.
You know what Memory TV is, right?
Oh, is it on YouTube? I'm guessing it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Memory TV is a European, I think it's British, a British station that takes programs from the Middle East and translates them with subtitles. So you can see the ridiculous shit that some people in the Middle East watch on their daily TV. And there was one there was one dude who was talking about how very clearly the Earth is flat, because if the Earth was round and rotated, if you threw a ball into the air, it would move like down the street because the Earth was moving. And I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. I can't believe.
Wait! I got a perfect thing for that. Hold on. Let me just get to it. Hold on. Let me just oh shit. One second.
Mm-hmm.
But before I do, I just want to show you something hilarious. Okay, here we go. Was that you baking a little bit there?
Sorry, what?
Were you just getting a little baked there? Sounded like a bong.
No, man, I'm straight edge.
Oh, nice. Hey.
Something if you don't have dogs. It does kind of beg the question, why does Cage stop shooting? He's got him right there. What's stopping?
Why the fuck are you watching the Nostalgia Critic?
Because it's funny, dude. I enjoy the comedy. Why?
What comedy?
This farce.
It says Cop that every 80s and
He
90s.
hasn't. No. He hasn't done a good video in like 6 years.
Yeah, this is the older videos, dude. Hold on. So
you must have heard about Channel Awesome falling apart, right?
Oh no, I've heard about it. I don't care for the people there. I was going to show you the clip, but it was just basically imitating the idea of Nick Cage is continuously missing his targets. You know, as like the explanation as to why Cage doesn't kill Castor or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you some Memory TV. I'm going to screen share here.
Yeah, sure. But dude,
I'm screen sharing.
Oh Christ.
Okay, here just.
Oh,
that's how the cocaine, which was mixed in the kebab, got into my body. I'm sure. I'm sure, buddy. Let's see. It is told in the hadith that Omar ibn al-Khattab had an anal disease, and the second one says, where is it? No, that's not it. I can't. Here it is. Which could be cured only by semen.
So basically this is pray the gay away, but they found an excuse in the Quran.
Yeah. No, in the hadith, it's different than the Quran.
Oh, I don't give a fuck at this point. They're all just basically fantasy land.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, because you as a Christian very, very clearly see a difference between the Old and New Testament, right?
Oh yeah, but I think you can probably just say Jesus basically said, yeah, here's the parts that are still relevant. You know, like if you took the canon version of the Quran and the hadiths, you just look at it and just say, well, and the surah and all the, and I think isn't there like 7 books or something?
I'm not sure exactly how many.
I think it's like 7. But whatever, you take the canon versions of all of them and you eliminate anything that doesn't have enough citations where Islam will say, well, no, we don't actually believe that. And you look at what's left over, it's still what? What the hell is this? What am I looking at?
He is a man of logic and should not be taken seriously. Or this guy here. We came to the conclusion that whoever kills himself is committing suicide.
Are you sure
Earrings in both ears is the worst. 150% chance of homosexuality.
read it one more time. Read it one more time, because every time I talk, all of a sudden it goes away.
Okay. Well, you have to click on my name. And it'll stay on my window if you click where it says, see how in the corner there's your name and my name.
Yeah, but the problem is I got this fucking Discord getting in my way all the time. Hold on.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
You just click it, it'll stay up.
I know. I haven't learned how to work Discord yet because I literally just got it yesterday. And
there's this guy here. Your friend is a communist who brings you communist books. First of all, you must stay away from this friend. Dude, Memory TV is fucking hilarious. I love it.
Well, they're not. Well, they're not idiot. I don't think. From what you said, it doesn't sound like Memory TV is the problem. It sounds like they're just translating. They're basically.
Yeah. Memory TV translates other Middle Eastern broadcasts for English.
Yeah, my guess is they're probably just covering their mouths, trying not to giggle as they do this. Hey, have you ever heard of Jubilee TV? Like, have you ever?
I'll turn off my screen share now.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
Have you heard of Jubilee TV? Like,
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, I really like them because it looks like they're the only people who just take two people of opposite opinions and really just let them talk. You know, like a civilized conversation. I recently subscribed to them, but I would really recommend them because they don't really take a side much.
Oh, I want to go back to something, actually. I forgot about what it was, and now I remember it. You said that in the Christian community, some people wanted to make it illegal to have sex before marriage. The problem with that, it's the same problem as what Europe's facing now with Sharia courts, is that in terms of building a nation, you can't have any legal code that supersedes the legal code of the nation.
Oh yeah. Oh,
it's just not going to work.
Oh, I wasn't promoting it. I wasn't promoting it. In fact, the reason why I created. Hold on. The reason why I create. How did I undo this? Because now it's stuck on me.
Just unclick it.
I know. I'm trying to, but it's just not doing shit. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Sorry, dude. Like, YouTube is always screwing, like, changing things on their platform, and I didn't do my. I haven't started up live streams until a few months ago. So, you know.
No, that's fine. I understand.
Yeah. So the thing is, my thought about this is that, you see, the reason why I created the series I was telling you about was because I thought, is it really so wrong to say that maybe something should be a person's personal choice, but people should look down on them for it. Like, I don't want to tell it. Like, if you guys like, let's say ShortFatOtaku says, I want to get the gift. I want to get it tonight. I want to find a nice, big, hairy, fat, gay man, and I just want him to infect me. I don't think I should have the right to point a gun to your head and say, no, you can't do that. But at the same time, is it really a bad thing to say, dying of a deadly disease maybe should be frowned upon if it's intentional?
I mean, I agree. It's just that people always have sets of principles, and people almost always never live by those principles 100%. For example, you're Catholic. Have you ever sinned in your entire life?
Of course. And, I will never...
There you go, right? Like, you're not somebody who lives by your principles all the time. You can have those principles and think they're important, but in your actions, you're not there. Now, the problem is that if you make following those principles a legal matter and breaking those principles illegal, you're going to have to arrest every single person on earth.
Absolutely. And that's why I was saying I don't want it to be law. I want it to be more of a social, taboo, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, and I think the same thing with pronouns too. The whole pronouns thing. For example, if I were to bump into Blair White, I would obviously refer to her as a woman. And if I didn't, I should definitely be socially ostracized for that. However, there shouldn't be a legal cost to not doing it.
Yeah, so you kind of agree. I think we're in agreement there that regardless of just what we think should be taboos or not, we think that taboos are a good thing because they keep people from becoming bad people without putting people in jail for shit that they shouldn't be going to jail for.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think that I totally admit that I have sinned plenty of times over. With that being said, although I do think that there are some sins that are a lot easier to avoid doing than others. It's a lot easier to avoid murdering someone with a tablespoon versus versus watching porn, or hell, even swearing. It's a lot easier to avoid the sin. I don't even consider swearing to be a sin because there isn't a part of the Bible that says it is, and they just say it's rude to do that in front of your parents. But I think it's a lot easier to not tie someone into the back of your truck and turn on your truck and just watch them get scraped to death versus not cursing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. It's like oh, you stole $5 from your parents. Oh, big whoop do you fucking do? Cops come, they just say just give it back to your parents. You're 18 and you don't have a mental disorder. and you don't live with your parents anymore, just give it back. Versus like, he committed an armed robbery. Well, nobody's perfect. And I think you and I can both agree you shouldn't stone someone to death for adultery. But I think back in those barbaric times, considering adultery could cause incest and it could also cause like all sorts of other like social disorder, that was kind of almost the only thing you could do to get someone to not do that, right?
I don't think it was that.
What was it?
I think the biggest problem with adultery is that there was no modern child support apparatus in place, right? So men would by default take care of the children that their wives had, whether they were theirs or not, and they would just assume that, oh, these are my kids, obviously. So if it was discovered that a woman slept around and cheated on her husband, now suddenly the parentage of his kids are in question.
Well, not only that,
and that's like a huge investment on the part of the man who's supporting them. So I think that's why it had to have such a severe punishment. Nowadays, we don't need that, because nowadays we have DNA tests, and we can use a larger, more competent legal system to enforce child support on men who have kind of ditched on their responsibilities.
Yeah, not only that. Back then, it was 1,000 times harder to live. You die like at 40. So as you said, it's a huge investment. Well, whatever people think a huge investment is today, times that by 1,000,000. Because back then, a huge investment meant that you could put yourself at risk for being eaten by a predator or getting a disease 1,000 times over for some kids that aren't even fucking yours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And plus, it is still a good thing to do. It's still good to be loyal. I just don't think, putting someone in the town square and essentially doing what they do in Pakistan is a good idea. No,
I completely agree there. Of course, loyalty has also changed too. I mean, for example, if you're like a swinger couple and you both consent to the partners that your partner is having, or if you're like, if you're a couple that like regularly has threesomes with like a third person who's not part of the couple, or for some reason one of you enjoys some weird cuckold fetish. I don't know. Like I'm very left leaning in terms of what people do regarding sex. It's just that one, everyone involved has to be informed of what's going on. I think that's important. And two, everyone involved has to be adult enough to understand that it's not just sex. There are psychological implications, and be able to handle them. And if they can't handle them, then be able to bow out of the situation. Especially
for women, because women especially have a hard time with that. Because men are the pursuers, women are the ones who approve. It's biologically rooted in us that it's only very recently where we have all this technology and we live this long. So with women, considering childbirth is much harder in humans than anyone else, and that's what sex would most usually lead to back in the day before we had condoms and contraception. It is so ingrained in the female psyche to be careful about how many partners you have, right?
I'm not so sure about that. I think there's probably some biological markers that trend certain ways, but I think especially in modern culture, it's not quite so simple as that.
No. But what I do mean is that, sure, modern culture has opened up a little bit, but here's the thing. As Gat said, and a lot of other people, including myself, would say, biology holds culture on a leash, meaning it doesn't matter how far you've gone with your culture, your biology will always trump your culture.
See, I actually disagree with that. I don't think that's the case. I'm definitely not like a person who denies biology. Like people use fucking biological essentialist as a slur, and I don't think it's a slur. I think it's actually a reasonable position to hold. Jesus. But I don't think that biology is held. Sorry. I don't think that culture is held completely at the whims of biology at all. I really don't.
I mean, it depends on what in culture and what in biology. I'm not saying like, oh, it's biological that sugar is something we like, so therefore we're all going to be fat slobs because it's impossible to ever control your sugar consumption. No, I mean, like, when it comes to something as deeply rooted into how we behave as sex, and that's why it doesn't matter if a culture wants to be celibate. eventually people will start fucking each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you haven't.
No, but that's because, well, first off, even though I don't use porn for it, I still masturbate. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, sure, but nonetheless.
Oh no, but I'm saying, oh well, no, but that's because I plan on eventually finding someone.
Okay, but what I mean is that your biology hasn't taken over. Your biology is not putting your cultural decision to not have sex on a leash and forcing you to do it. You like the biology is the foundation, but it's not the building.
Oh no, I would never say that. I would say though, you got to look at what parts of the building. I think that biology and culture are about 50-50, but there are different wings of that building that are made of mostly biology and others that are made of mostly culture. Would you agree?
Depends what we're talking about specifically, but
No,
maybe not.
Like as in wings are a metaphor for different parts of how we live our life. You know, some parts are more influenced by culture, while others are more influenced by biology.
Well, I honestly think that sex is probably more influenced by culture, frankly. I'm definitely on that side of it. And it's because, for example, I don't know what's here. You're a great example. You've chosen not to have sex despite the biological imperative to do so. You're an example right there.
If I may,
also, like people can, and people hate to hear this, but it's the honest truth. People can control to a large degree what they're interested in sex just through exposure. I mean, there's that comic that's going around. It's a fucking meme comic. It's about the redheaded boy who sees trap porn for the first time and is like, it's called the 6 stages of trap porn. Let me find it. Hold on.
Hey, but before you continue, I'd just like to say part of the other reason why is because first off, I actually plan on getting well, I'll keep that to myself because I'd rather Instagram just find out just by looking at me. But and I don't plan on transitioning or anything like that. I'll just say it. I have a slightly off jawline. It's not really that severe. So I plan on just having corrective surgery just to make it, symmetrical and whatever. But I also work out and I also have a good sense of fashion. So I think part of the reason why I'm able to control myself is because I don't feel insecure in that I don't feel like I can't get a girl. You know what I mean? Because I think biology would immediately say, if you can't get a girl, you become desperate. And, because of biology is saying, no. We need to release, and we can't just have it be into the toilet all the time. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm going to screen share because I found the comic I'm talking about, and you will probably have recognized. It's called The Stage of Accepting That Traps Are Gay. Can you see that? Can you? There we go.
Oh,
you've seen this before?
Let me just oh god damn, Discord, stop popping. Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna do something. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Now Discord won't continue to update. Sorry. There we go. Because it keeps coming on the side of my computer, so it blocks half of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, can you see? Can you see that comic?
Yeah. WTF? Those girls are dudes. I mean, and it's not gay, right? It's fucking. And degenerate, it's turning people gay and hate them, blah 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 blah. But put it in doggy, daddy. Oh, so he became a trap himself.
He goes from shock to denial to anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And it's a funny comic because it shows a straight guy comes across really cute trap porn, and then over time. Just he kind of has to wrestle with the fact that he found those girls attractive. He wrestles with it. He gets angry about it. He says it's not gay because I like it. And then he says, I guess I'm gay. And then he just kind of fully embraces it. This is obviously a joke comic.
Yeah.
But this actually does somewhat accurately describe how people can be acclimated to new fetishes over time.
Well, plus also, isn't it partially the influence of him not being able to accept that perhaps because he's young and because he's never seen other porn before, it's easier to like it, and that because he's unwilling to accept it, his mind doesn't stop thinking about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he just said, yeah, I saw that for the first time, maybe if I saw other forms of porn, it'd be easier to not make a big deal out of it, but because he's constantly thinking, and the kid looks young, so it's before he's kind of emotionally matured. Like a guy our age, like if you were straight, do you really think that you'd be as into as into like men as you are, if you had maybe started watching porn at 16 or something like that, and
I definitely think that there's like a formative year age window where this type of thing can happen more easily.
puberty.
And but I also do think that it can happen basically eventually to anybody. I think if you expose yourself to different stimulus long enough, you will eventually become acclimated to it. And I think that also works for sex. I think that you can have people who are, you know, completely vanilla in their sexual tastes develop fetishes through exposure.
Well,
So people who say that you can't, you know, I was born gay and that's how it's like, no, I mean, maybe you were, but it's not like it's completely immutable. And we can, like, at the same time, I don't want to suddenly come off like I don't think that gay marriage should exist or anything like that, because I do think it should exist. It's just that I don't think that the argument being gay is inherent in my biology, therefore I need to be allowed to get married to another man or another woman if you're a lesbian.
Well,
I don't think that's a good argument.
Okay. So Taco, I'm just gonna say this. I think it's a little more complicated than that. In that, coming from, I actually have like a good amount of background in. I won't say how I do, because you know NDAs can't do that. But I do have a good amount of background in psychology. Not saying like I am a psychologist. I'm not. I'm saying I have worked in places where you will encounter people of who you're going to have to understand how they think. I'm not going to say more than that. With that being said, it actually is more biological than you think when it comes to sex, because of there's three parts of the brain. The first part being the reptilian, the second part being the mammalian, the last part being the human. The most old and ancient, and it's pretty much where most of sex is in the reptilian. And that is very, very hard to make gay. With that being said, yes, it's possible that you can do that, but at most, usually most guys will say, I'm not really gay, but I will probably be okay maybe having a little gay sex on the side, but I would never marry a gay man. If they were straight and they watched straight porn along with gay porn during their years of adolescence. And usually it just means that they'd be kind of bisexual, but they would never marry a man. In fact, if anything, they would probably, like if they could have sex with anyone they wanted for the rest of their lives, as often as they want to, every time they fucked a dude, they'd fuck a woman about 8 or 10 times. From most research. Yeah,
I mean, I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, I don't have a problem with gay people. In fact, I think when God said that that's wrong to be gay, I think what he's saying is that when he says lie with another man, well, you actually got to look at a lot of the context that is around. A lot of times he was talking about things like orgies and shit like that. Now, he was saying that it was bad to be gay, but he was talking more about deviancy for the sake of deviancy. And I think, and as you said, it's more of a choice than people think. He was saying, you know, and he was even focusing more on marriage versus because the Romans, the pagans, a lot of these people encouraged like large orgies amongst the wealthier people. They actually had large orgies, if you didn't know that. So he was saying, yeah. So he was saying and so when you look at it, now I am stretching, so I will say that I could be wrong, but it seems like what he was saying is that to participate in these large orgies and to not be married to a woman, like he would be bad. He wasn't even, I don't think he was completely saying that being gay was wrong. I think he was saying is, since there's a certain amount of choice in it, you should choose to inevitably have a family with a woman, even if you have a lust for a man. You know, not like you should be ashamed of it. And that you should avoid steering away from the nuclear family and spreading disease and whatnot.
Yeah, I can see part of that. I also don't think that that's all that important anymore either, because we've got a lot of different people on the earth now. We don't, like, not everyone needs to reproduce anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I wasn't saying. I was more talking about the lore. I was mainly talking about the lore of what Christians say, so that way people don't misinterpret it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like for example, I don't think I'm ever going to have children. I really am not suited for that kind of thing. And I'm fine with that. My girlfriend doesn't want kids either, and we've already planned out a life for ourselves that doesn't involve children, and instead involves other things that are just as fulfilling. It's just that, you know,
You don't want to shame people. You don't want to shame people for wanting kids, do you?
No, of course not. No. I mean, there's obviously, I think there actually is probably some reasonable shame involved in it at this point, but that's on like a macro level, because there are people who reproduce way too fucking much, who take up way too much of the social safety net, who take up way too much of the limited resources we have on the planet. And you know, there are people who just mindlessly reproduce and just absorb everything, and it's obviously a big problem.
Unless they do that without realizing how much it's hurting the kids.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people that just don't get it, but there are people outright, and I've met these people in real life. They know that having way more kids than replacement rate is long-term bad for their kids, for themselves, for everyone else around them, and they do it anyway.
Well,
and
it depends on
it's somebody else's problem. They just say it, and then it's like, that is extremely fucking ignorant.
Well, it depends on to what degree, actually. I would say, because, you know, I know some people with 12 kids, and they're not doing too bad. But I would say, for me, it's 6. I don't think I should have more than that. Not because I care about other people. Fuck other people. You know, team.
How Christian of you?
No. The Bible says you should love all people, but it has kind of almost an Ayn Rand kind of belief in that you should love all people, but you shouldn't let yourself be taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but certainly having 6 children goes far beyond the mandate of don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah, but who creates that mandate, and how much evidence is there? You know what I mean?
I think there's a fair amount of evidence, in fact. You know, for example, I do straight up believe that climate change is real and is caused by humans. So if you have a bunch of first world babies that are going to rapidly accelerate that and have a huge carbon footprint, that's obviously a problem.
And that's, I think, where we disagree, because I think that climate change is definitely influenced by us, but I think that it's heavily exaggerated just how much, and to the point where we're barely doing anything at all. And it depends on the lifestyle and the culture of the nation that they live in, because we can't deny that, you know, despite, you know, regardless of how many people are in China, even if there were only as many as there are in the United States in the same landmass, China definitely doesn't care about how much pollution they make.
I actually disagree with that. I read an article about 2 weeks ago that stated that they're finally starting to set green energy measures, because and here's the thing, they're not doing it because of pollution necessarily, though that's a factor, because China's heavily polluted, and they're starting to see like a lot of their production falter because of how much pollution there is. They're realizing that oil's running out. And they're thinking, okay, well, where is China going to be in 100 years if we have all this oil-based technology and no oil to run it? So they're actually doing the smart thing by investing in non-oil energy tech.
Well, no, I don't think that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is, think about it. China has been doing that for years, but it only recently started doing what you talk about because now it's going to hurt them.
Maybe. It also might be the case they just haven't reached that level of development yet. Like, yeah. This isn't necessarily peak oil, but it's an idea that I've been floating around in my head for a while. Yeah. Let's say your civilization requires so much oil, some amount of oil at minimum, to build new technology that will not use oil. So you have to go through the cultural evolutionary process of going from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age to the Renaissance to the beginning of industrialization. You bring in coal. Using the power of coal, you discover oil. You bring in oil. Now, using the power of oil, you can bring in, you know, nuclear or solar or wind or something that will not pollute the way that oil and coal will. However, if your society uses up all of the oil without transitioning to that technology, that new post-oil technology, how are you going to do it? Because if you needed oil to do it and now all the oil's gone, you're just kind of fucked. Yeah, so I think that there's actually like a bridge that societies in general have to cross, and they only have a very limited amount of time to cross them from oil to post-oil.
I don't disagree, but there's a lot of evidence that there's a lot of oil that people are not willing to admit there is. It's just that we already use so much of it that if we made no change, it'd be gone as fast as they predict. The problem is that there's so much oil that if we slow down even a little bit, it's going to definitely leave enough to transition. But that's the thing. It should be a transition because the technology is getting a lot better, but it's nowhere near where we need it to be long-term usage. And for countries that are poor, we need to stop telling them to not use oil because first off, we use way more of it than Latin America does on a daily basis. But also, here's the big thing. The reason why we're able to transition is because we have developed our economies because it's an economic issue too, to the point where we can transition, to the point where it becomes economically feasible. But these people in like Latin America, like Mexico and Colombia, they can't do that because they have to develop their economies and develop their nation out of that way to do that.
They do, but there's also, I mean, the SJWs are not gonna like to hear this, but in general, colonization, European colonization of the world was in long term a good thing. There was a lot of bad things done. Cultures were destroyed, people were enslaved, lots of people died. It was a fucking bloodbath that should have been avoided. However, you can't deny that, for example, North America's native population is living a better life now, even with broken treaties and alcoholism and a loss of cultural identity. They're living a better life now than when they lived in teepees and didn't know how to work bronze yet. You know, there's an improvement, and frankly, I think like if Western nations, if Canada and the United States and Europe and Japan and these G8 nations turn into post-oil powerhouses, they discover or they invent new ways of running their energy systems that are cheap and easy and cause almost no damage to the environment. Once they have that shit up and running, I think there probably is some kind of humanitarian imperative to share that with the rest of the world. And the SJWs can cry all they want about colonization. It would be the right thing to do.
I think so. I think to a certain degree, here's one thing that I'll say. Now, I don't want to overly give. I mean, there's plenty of like, have you seen Lauren Southern's video about, I know I'm mentioning her a lot, and honestly, trust me, I've called her out plenty of times too. I just haven't made a video quite yet, but I got one in the works.
You probably just want to ram her before marriage. Before marriage.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that a sex joke? I can't tell.
Yeah, dude, before marriage. Well, come on. He's 100% one of those trad thoughts, right?
No, I don't think so. Because the thing is, she's perfectly happy with showing off that she's pretty, but she doesn't show cleavage. And I don't know if she's. Here's the thing: I will never say she's trad until I meet her, because I don't care what you promote on your channel and how you do it. If I don't know you in real life, I have no idea if you live by that or not.
Hey, wait a second. Cleavage? She doesn't have any cleavage to show off. Okay, here, look at this fucking picture of her. There's no cleavage to show off, man. Here, I'll screen share this shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
What cleavage? There's nothing there.
There's stuff there.
Yeah, barely.
No, there's no. Can I finish? Can I finish? What I was gonna say.
Sorry. Go ahead.
In order to be a thought, you have to only promote the trad while not actually living it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be someone who's just purely in it, not giving any value in return. As in, you're essentially a whore, but you say you like traditional family. So in other words, I would absolutely put Brittany Venti in there because she doesn't provide a product or service in return. Lauren Southern's Patreon allows her to actually report on shit. So even if she knows, and I'm pretty sure she knows that most law guys look at her because she's pretty. I'm not sure she's admitted to that. She said, yeah, that's fine. But she does actually go out into the world and make real content. You know, it would be kind of like saying, like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, fucking Colin Farrell is a trad thought because let's say Colin Farrell wasn't an actor, but he looked the same. He's a handsome guy. He's a good-looking guy, and he works out. Well, he can't report on shit, you know, and he can't have a Patreon, and because he's pretty, because he looks good. You know what I mean? She actually does make quality content, and believe me, I've called out a lot of women who pretend to do the same thing. I think Brittany Venti, and actually Brittany Pettibone isn't there because she definitely covers up, but I actually think that Brittany Venti, Pettibone, that both of them are trad, or how do I say it?
Trad thought?
almost with Pettibone, 100% with Venti. Pettibone puts out content that's pretty much just, let's just talk to the camera 90% of the time. And it bores me the fuck to death. Like she's a nice girl. She seems like a nice person. You don't personally have a problem with her, do you?
Brittany Venti?
No, Pettibone. Venti is just annoying. Venti is
I find Venti funny. I think
she's a thought. She's 100%. Venti's 100% a thought, a track.
Oh yeah, she absolutely is. But I think she probably, if she decided to go down that route, I think she has a future as like a video game streamer or something. I don't think she makes any serious content though. I don't think she could.
Yeah, but I'm saying Pettibone is at least kind of in the middle in that she makes content and she does use her Patreon and Patreon for shit. But I think we can both agree Lauren Southern actually tries to go out there and be a real reporter. But she doesn't care that people look at her in a sexual way. She doesn't try to like be overly sexual. But I mean, if someone goes up to her and sees her on the beach and takes a picture of her in a bikini, that's not the same thing as like having a push-up bra and having a deep V and jiggling all the time. Most of the time, she's pretty conservative with the clothes she wears.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the inherent contradiction of the trad thought stereotype is that the traditional role of a woman is not to be a reporter like Lauren Southern. It's to be married at her age and having kids.
Oh, so, but that could,
so that means that they're all basically trad thoughts because they talk about traditional life that they don't actually live traditional life. They do other things.
That's a matter of whether she's found someone of quality, because there's plenty of girls I've gone on dates with that I could have honestly, that are not bad. And I actually enjoy talking to, I could have stayed with a relationship with, and I realized they weren't enough. And I'm not like one of those people who needs like the most ridiculous, absolute traditional hot supermodel for a wife, but they did not come close enough to my standards. They're nice, but they were not good enough. How do we know? We don't know her personally, so we don't know that she's not just waiting for the right guy. So we can't say, and this is the thing. This is why I get annoyed with Rooch V, because here's the thing: I would not be surprised if Lauren Southern is going into BDSM clubs and getting fucked by 5 guys every night. I don't know her. I don't know her. I can't say that. I can't lie and say I don't. I know that.
Okay, I want that to be clipped and taken out of context. And you know what? I know that Sargon has a direct line to her. I'm gonna ask him for it, and I'm gonna fucking send that clip. This guy is the
one. You son of a bitch. That being said, I also don't know if she's a virgin. Nobody knows that. And I will never pretend to know that. That's why I get annoyed at people like Rushby, who actually called out Lauren Rose, who doesn't even have a Patreon, and said that she was not traditional, despite the fact that you don't know that. Plus, traditional in the modern sense should mean maybe if you were married to a guy and you have enough kids and you can't afford to, raise them with just your husband's salary, you get a part-time job, he gets a full-time job. If you can, you stay home with the kids, but maybe until you get married, you work. I don't see how that'd be a bad thing. So, and here's the thing, like I said, I have no idea what she does. I don't know. And Lauren, if you're listening, I'm never going to pretend I know you. I've never met you, and I refuse to
I refuse to meet you.
I didn't say that. Do not pretend that I said that, okay? But, you get my point, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So my point is this, and I got a little energetic there because there are so many people who will fucking tweet me at this for this shit. But you really should know the person as a person first. You really should, and you should have evidence. And here's the thing: I want to debate Rushby because 90% of what he does is just say any girl who looks good cannot do good work, and to the point where his conversation went from, oh, these women are not trad because they're making money off their looks, to Lauren Southern cannot do a good documentary about South Africa because boobs and a pretty face, and a slim body. You can't like that it is impossible to be a pretty person and actually do a good quality job in anything. And my response was, you have to separate the art from the artist. If she was just a pretty face, I'd call her out instantly. Because I always hated when people worship at a woman's feet. I hate that. my parents divorced when I was very young, and they weren't even my real parents. I'm Latino, in case you didn't know, and I'm actually an immigrant to the U.S., a legal one, which is why I'm conservative in the first place. So I already learned in a very painful way, that the people you love are not perfect, and you can't put them on a pedestal. These were people that took me in. They weren't even my real parents, and they broke my heart. So I hate when people put them on a pedestal, but I think you and I can both agree it's stupid to say that a female cannot make do a good job at stuff just because she's pretty. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, but I also see the alternative, because a lot of that stuff, there is a logical side to it, because you can get a woman who does like okay work, not great, but not bad, and she's going to skyrocket because of her looks.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's just that, and this is mainly going back to the Rush V argument when he was at first debating Brittany Venti, then the girl named Annika came on, then Lauren came on, and all he kept doing was just constantly saying, "I don't want to talk to you." And every time someone brought up a point about, here's how I think we did legitimately good work, he just said, it doesn't matter, you're female. Therefore, it cannot be good. Like he was saying the work itself cannot be good. And they asked him, like, have you seen it? Have you actually looked at it? And he said, no, but I refuse to. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Make up your mind. Like, here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of people, here's the thing. I know Lauren's going to get mad at me for calling out her friend Brittany. And like I said, I have no personal problem with Brittany Pettibone, not Fenty, but Pettibone, because she seems like a nice girl. She seems like if I met her in real life, she'd be nice to me and be nice to you. I don't have a personal problem with her. I don't like a lot of her content because I think a lot of times it's just talking to the screen. It's not a whole lot of investigation. It's not a whole lot of anything. And she's clearly someone who probably gets the attention she does because of the way she looks. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. It can be sometimes hard to determine which is which, because if you get like a girl who does nothing and blows up because of her looks, that's obviously bad. But you can get a girl who does some good work and she's still going to blow up because of her looks, but also people are going to discount her because of her looks without even looking at her work. Right. So it does go both ways.
And I think at some point you just got to let people say whatever they're going to say, put out the content you do, and try to just be an honest person regardless. I think that's the best thing, right? For anyone, even male.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not very good looking, but I still put stuff out.
Yeah. And regardless, you just got to play the cards you tell, because you can't control what other people think, and you shouldn't try to. You should realize people are going to think whatever they want. They have their own minds. As long as you know that you've met the standards you want to meet, good enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't need to compete with other people. You just need to compete with yourself, I think.
Yeah. You were so going to send Sargon that clip, aren't you?
Yeah, why not? Actually, no. You know what I'll do? I'll just ask him for Lauren Souther's contact info, and I'll send it to her myself.
Well, okay, yeah, and you're probably gonna get the email address she actually uses rather than whatever the fuck it's on her page.
People do seem to have like their own backdoor emails that they actually watch that don't get given out. And I don't blame them. Like important, not important. That's the wrong word. People who are busy, people who would get like thousands of emails a day. They do have like a private one that has nothing to do with their online persona that they just kind of talk to. Well, and I don't blame them.
Well, yeah, because eventually, if you're like being tweeted at and messaged at by like 1,001 people, eventually you gotta protect yourself. There's psychos out there.
It's not just psychos; it's just the fact that you have no fucking time. Like Sargon's channel, for example, is 800,000 subs. It's reasonably sized. He does a lot of work. He's busy a lot of the time. But there's still a Skype group with a bunch of us in it. And we don't collude. It's not like a fucking Game Journal Pros situation. We hang out and we play video games together sometimes, and that's about it. Like
on PlayStation or Xbox Live, whatever that shit is.
Yeah. There's like 10 of us, and that's about it.
Can I join you guys?
No, it's not my group. I can't invite people.
Sargon, I'm kidding. I will never suck your dick. Screw that. I'd rather never join your group than bow down at someone else's rod. But you're cool, dude.
He's a nice guy. I disagree with him a healthy amount, and despite the undeserved, in my opinion, persona he has online, or like people seem to think that like he, like the soy father meme. You've seen
Oh
that,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
well,
shit like that.
is it really that bad? If
No, it's not that bad at all. He's very down to earth, and I disagree with him a fair amount. And he listens to criticism and he goes, "Okay, no, I understand what you're trying to say."
Yeah, well, and the thing is about the whole soy father thing. I could understand if maybe a woman had raised her kids for a good 6 years, never took them to their parents, as in like their grandparents or whatever, worked a bunch of jobs and had a bunch of dates with bad boys and never married them and said, I don't want to ever date another guy like this again. It was stupid the first time. And then she finds someone like Sargon and says, listen, I need to know who you are because I made a huge mistake in the past, right? It's not preferable, but Sargon's an older dude. If something goes wrong, he has a way out. He knows that if he could have someone else, so for us young guys, it's like a trap, it's like a Venus flytrap. Like,
I'm not that young.
No, I wasn't talking. Oh, whoops. Wrong language. Sorry. I just meant.
I think Sargon's 37. I'm 31.
Oh, wow. No, I meant the people watching.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like it's safer for you guys than it is for us because, we're young, we're poor. Well, I'm not poor, but although I'm definitely saving a lot. In fact, I don't spend a lot. I don't have a lot of money to spend on what I like, but that's because there's so many expenses. I probably shouldn't say this, but I actually got hit in the heart really, really hard, like in the chest, and it stopped my heart for like 10 seconds a while back.
Oh, how was that?
Just imagine like this is what everyone feared about Martin Shkreli when it comes to the pills I had to take, the prices. So yeah, that was a trip. I got airlifted out. How lovely. But I made a full recovery, so don't worry. But there's that.
I'm actually curious about it now. What happened? Like, so if your heart stops for 10 seconds, did you pass out? Like, what was it like?
Oh, basically, I started going into a coma. I was revived in that. Here's the thing. It was just long enough where I didn't die. Like I was like my heart's. It wasn't even completely stopped. It went like into super slow mode. Like as in effectively, I could not move. I fell down. I could not move. Completely paralyzed. And my dad was right there. I'm not gonna say too much more than that because locations, names, shit like that. Gotta keep myself safe.
Yeah.
But I was revived by my dad. And so I wasn't airlifted out because I was, I had my heart like gone. No, I was airlifted out when I was already awake. But I was in a certain location where it'd be hard to get an ambulance there, of which I will not describe. And that does serious damage when it stops for that long, especially to your overall body.
Well, when you were awake, what did it feel like? Like you're awake and getting airlifted out. How did you feel?
It literally feels like you start to feel your skeleton materialize. Like it's so hard to describe because it happened once, but it was so viscerally like I was sort of becoming conscious. Like it was almost like that flash that you put like on like what's it called? Fuck. Like if you I don't know if you use Vegas or Adobe or whatever, but
I use Adobe, yeah.
Okay, so basically both have this. Both have this as a transition. When you have the transition to light and into a next clip or whatever, it's like that, but your whole body's experiencing that. And while my heart was out and I was unconscious, it literally felt like no time had passed at all when I woke up. When it woke up, whoops, woke isn't a word. But you get what I mean? Because like you literally don't know that it's happening. That's how it feels. You don't remember going to sleep. You remember the few seconds before that, and then done.
Yeah, I mean, I had a surgery at one point when I was knocked out for about an hour and a half, and unlike sleeping, where you generally have a sense of time,
yeah,
like if you go to sleep and you wake up like in the middle of the night, you can kind of guess whether it's like 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, right? You don't have it down to an exact science, but you can generally guess how long you've been asleep.
Yeah,
you have at least some kind of temporal record in your head regarding how long you've been out. But when I was put under for the surgery, it didn't feel it did feel like no amount of time had passed on some level, but it also felt like an almost infinite amount of time had passed when I woke up. Like it was a completely unknown number. I was aware of not being awake, but there was just nothing for that.
No information. No, it's like zero. It feels like you could have been asleep for ever since winter fell, or you could have been asleep for like a milliseconds. Like you cannot, and it's not so much like you feel both. It's like you feel a little bit of both, but you really just don't know what you feel. You don't know what it is. You're just like, it's like if everyone has a clock in their head, someone just smashed it to pieces and threw it in a fire, and then they gave you a new one when you woke up.
Yeah. So I mean, for me as an atheist, I'm reasonably certain that that's probably what death feels like, but on a permanent scale.
Yeah.
Like there's basically no coming back from that, and there's no even recognizing that you're gone.
So when you come back as a zombie, what do you think what it'll be like?
Probably pretty awful. Well, I've actually got to get going, man. We've been at this like an hour and a half, haven't we?
Holy fuck! I think we have, but dude, yeah, I wasn't planning on having you too much longer. But before you go, I would like to say you seem like a smart guy, and obviously I'm conservative. You're liberal. Mm-hmm. This is what I love about people when they actually treated them like a human being. It's really kind of nice to know. Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up and just talk to people. You know, just be nice. Be nice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the same time, though, you like liberals and conservatives can generally do that. It's SJWs and communists and Marxists on one side, and then it's like the alt-right and the white identitarians and the actual Nazis on the other side. They're never going to fucking do that.
Yeah. Oh, and it depends on who you talk to, too. Have you? I'll give. If you want, I think you should try interviewing Wife with a Purpose. She's very, very nice. And she doesn't think of any one race as superior. She just thinks that they're different, and that there shouldn't be one nation with half and half of any one race. You know, that it should be mostly one and a little bit of the other. And I don't completely agree with her all the way. I mean, I'm one of those people who believes that race is real, but it's not the most important thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's very.
See, I would rather have a whole bunch of different races in one nation, because then you can very easily bang each member of each race.
I wasn't check that list off. I'm telling you what I think. I wasn't trying to tell you. I was telling you what she thinks. I wasn't trying to say that I believed that I want one.
I was in a Twitter conversation with Millennial Woes.
Oh.
It was a couple months ago, and I was like, "Listen, you can't just throw out all the black people in the United States. They've been there for hundreds of years. They have generations of citizens in the U.S. You can't say no. The U.S. is now a white ethno state. Like, even forgetting the slave part, because that part is bad enough. The fact that they've been there for hundreds of years, and so have white people rather, that gives them just as much right to be there continuously as white people do. I think that's actually a very good argument. Like why you can't just send all the black people back to Africa there in the States. It's a ridiculous argument. Yeah. And then somebody else like he said, well, that's not the case with Europe. With Europe, these are like recent Muslim people who have arrived and are ruining things. And I'm like, yeah, I agree in that case. They got to go fucking back. And not because of their race, not even because of their religion, but because of the fact that they don't want to integrate into the host culture. They want to they want to force the host culture to eventually integrate into it, and that's obviously a problem.
Yeah, and I'll say that.
But here's where I'm going with this though, because it was really funny. I think one of like Millennial Woes' friends jumped in and was like, "I just don't see why you wouldn't want black people in your country." In your white country. So I just started posting him pictures of like the most beautiful black women I could find. Just over and over and over. And I was like, here's why. I will gladly take this over the white ethno state.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm not in favor of the ethno state, except for in Israel, because let's be honest, that is an ethno state. Well,
it's not the only ethno state, because Israel's an ethno state, Japan's an ethno state. Japan is very ethnically homogenous, you know.
But the reason why I wouldn't be in favor of an ethno state in the U.S. is a lot of what you said, because the thing is, I only think that countries that are they have such a unique culture and they have no one coming in, legally that's of a different race. I'd say, I believe more in the nation state. I'm a civic nationalist, but I don't agree with a lot of people in the alt-right. With that being said, I think the biggest argument you could say is, okay, so all these people came over on slave ships. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, all white people are now responsible for slavery. No, Africans fucking enslaved each other. But we did forcibly take these people over to America against their will. Now they all got to go back? What the fuck is that supposed to be? Slavery wasn't right in the first place. What the hell? You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Like, the way I see it is that I obviously can't control anything that happened before I was born. I certainly can't control anything that happened before I was voting age in my own country, let alone other countries, you know.
Yeah.
But now I'm an adult. I can vote. I can run for office if I want. I have a voice that I can project if I need to, and I have some level of a civic responsibility.
ShortFatOtaku for prime minister.
Yeah, dude. With the fucking people we have running here, I could probably do it. But the situation is like people are saying, oh well, you know, everyone has to go back and re-give North America to its native population. And I'm like, well, no, you know, it might not be fair that white people are here now, but it would cause a greater injustice to make all white people leave, you know? Yeah. And then they say, oh, well, you did it to us in the past. Well, I didn't do it to you in the past. And I have no control over that. You know, if something happened before I had even the smallest amount of control over a situation, one, not only can I not be held responsible for it, but two, you know, I don't even think that I should advocate for its reversal. You know what I mean? Like if for example, here's a great example. Yeah. If, for example, the Middle East wanted to colonize Europe right now, which they seem to want to do this, because it hasn't happened yet, I can say reasonably, no, you shouldn't do that. Because obviously colonization in general is a bad thing, especially if you intend to colonize in order to abuse its native population. Obviously, that's a bad thing. Now, colonization has happened in the past. I can't do anything about, and it would be to undo that damage would be to deal even greater damage to another population. So you can't undo the damage. You just got to do the best of what you have. But that stuff, it's in the past.
You mind? Because I know you got to go, but real quickly before you go, I was going to say the biggest reason why I wanted you on is because of the fact that Canadian politics are decently different from American politics. I don't want to say they're like an alien, like, you know, like Islamic courts. It's not yet, you know, from American politics. But I wanted to talk to you about that. But because we're out of time. Maybe
we can do it for like 5 minutes or so. What do you want to know?
All right. Well, before we do that, I would like to say that it is really good that people like you are out there, because I really do think you are making people more educated. And I think you and I can both agree on this. Are you kind of glad that YouTube became more of your thing when you became older versus younger? You know,
well, it wasn't. I was just unknown. I'm still unknown, to be fair. I have 33,000 subs, which is in the grand scheme of YouTube nothing. However, I spent
dude, I have 62. Stop bitching.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, man. But like, I'm no fucking Logan Paul here, right? But like, I spent 2008 to 2015 slowly growing from 0 to about 5,000 subs.
Oh,
so I've been around for a very long time doing stuff, and nobody's fucking watched.
I meant for maturity reasons, because there's so many things that I wanted to do for a YouTube channel when I was a kid. And I look back and I say, oh, no. And I realized if I had, I would become the personality of Logan Paul. I know everyone hates him for the Suicide Force. My response is, he's not a bad person when he does that. He's not a good person when he does that. He's an idiot looking for views and money. I hate when people read into what's not there. You know what I mean? They're reading into things that are not there. He's not a sociopath. He's just an immature 12-year-old. He's 22, but he's like got the mind of a 12-year-old. You know, that's what he is.
Well, see, I actually see it differently. I wish that I had found my YouTube groove the first year I started the channel rather than now. And that's solely because I would therefore have like 8 years on me right now. You know, like I would be 8. I'd be 8 years younger. Therefore, I'd have 8 more years of time to build myself up, as well as I would have the increased energy that comes with being 23 instead of 31.
Well, also, I'm gonna you said it yourself. Your health might be a part of that too.
Oh yeah, I'm a fat shit. That's true. Like I am very aware. Like I'm at a weird weight range right now, where there's like I've discovered, because I used to be very, very fat, like over 300 pounds fat. Yeah. And then I worked myself down to 180, and now I'm sitting at about 220. And I like myself at 180. I kind of let myself go there for a few years again. But
you don't sound like a very you are short then,
yeah, I'm well, it's short. It's in the name.
Yeah, I know, it's good. I just thought it was kind of the stereotype of the otakus. You know what I mean?
No. I'm actually short too. But I discovered there's a tipping point for me, and it's around 220 pounds. And if you add like just 2 or 3 pounds to that 220, I go from being mostly okay, a little bit out of shape, but mostly okay, to like ridiculously winded all the time. I have to sleep constantly. I like, even just going upstairs is a fucking nightmare. Like, it seems like for me personally, 220 pounds is like the tipping point, and like I'm hovering around it. So every few weeks I'm alternating between feeling good and feeling terrible right now. Mm-hmm. And I have to get back on losing weight again, because this is fucking unacceptable.
This is unacceptable. I'm gonna get that sergeant from Full Metal Jacket to whip your ass into shape. I'll send him to Canada. I swear to God. Do you think he'd work? Do you think he'd get you in shape?
No, I just go to 4chan's Fit Board. They usually help out.
Oh, really? Hey, dude, you know what? Check out Jeff Cavalier. He's really good. He runs Athlete X, which, by the way, he's a former physical therapist and personal trainer for the New York Mets.
My fitness go-to guy is Scooby, actually, if you know him.
I do not know him, but he sounds interesting.
Are you fucking... Hold on. Scooby's like the most famous fitness YouTuber out there.
I've never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you a picture of him, because he's fucking hilarious.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
I guess we need to talk about politics another time, because I gotta go after this.
Hey, let me know when you're free next. I won't be free for another week, because my God, my work is insane. But and I'm talking about both my YouTube stuff and my actual real life job, because I have a life. But yeah, I'd love to have you on, and maybe we can just try to bottleneck it and focus it on the differences in Canadian and American politics. Good.
Yeah, sure. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna screen share.
Okay, here we go.
This guy is Scooby.
Oh, hell! Oh, I've seen that dude before. I've never watched his content, but I've seen him.
He's nearly 60 at this point, and he's in ridiculously good shape.
I think he kind of looks like he might be on a little bit of gear.
No, he's not. Everyone accuses him of it, right? But he's not. It's just that he's been working out for the past like 40 years of his life.
Yeah, but how tall is he? He's
like 6'4".
Ooh, that's kind of hard to believe. I'm not saying he couldn't be. Jeff Cavalier is not on gear either, and he's not super tall.
Yes, he's known as the Natty King. But let me find Scooby's progress, because to prove he's not on steroids, here it is. Okay, here's his progress. Okay, from 1984 all the way to 2015.
Yeah, okay, he's believable, and then I could. No, I'm saying if he got like that, like, over only a few years, then I'd be like, yeah, horse shit.
No, like, you can see it's been a slow build all the way through these years.
Yeah. Well, also he's definitely got good genes, because some people with really good genes don't have to work out a whole lot, and they could get pretty good looking. Other people can work out all the time, and it takes them this long to look anything close to that. You know that, right? Genetics play a good role.
Yeah, definitely.
And smaller, short guys like you, guess what? Once you get lean and you start putting on some muscle, you guys look a lot more ripped, because I'm 6 foot, which is ironic because I was born in Latin America. So that's I'm not going to question the God in heaven, Yahweh, who gave me that amazing gift. So thank you, by the way. But I like being tall, but it'll take me longer than you. You know what I mean? Just because you have it more concentrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely know that. I know all about that shit. But, like, look at him, for example, in 1996.
Yeah, he was like a skinny little guy. Like, sorry, I clicked off.
He's not skinny, but he doesn't have visible abs, but he's still like in decent shape, right? Like it's just that it's been a constant growth, and people are like, "Oh, you obviously do steroids." No, he's just been lifting for like since he was 20, you know.
And he doesn't, yeah. But there are some guys who clearly aren't on TV. Like, look up, like, do you know Cali Muscle?
No, but I know Ziz. Here you go. He fucking died at 22 because of the shit he did.
Yeah, no, but he was doing cocaine as well. But no, look up Cali Muscle. You're like, oh, come on, that's so obvious. But there are literally some people out there who think he's not on gear. Like, look him up. Like,
okay, hold on.
Like, you'll laugh and just say, how the hell does anyone think this dude is natty? But they're like,
that guy looks like he fucking injected himself with synthahol.
I know, sure.
No, that's not synthahol. What's it called? Starts with an S. You basically inject in your muscle, it inflates them.
Oh, that is synthol. That is synthol.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. This fucking guy here.
Show. You're not screen sharing right now.
Yeah, that guy.
There we go. That guy. That motherfucker.
This fucker. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Like, you can't even bend. He's like a cloud.
Look at that, dude. Like this, like people are like, some people say, no, dude, he just works out that hard. My ass, he works all that hard. No, guys, I have pretty good genes for a Latino. Okay, I'm 6 foot. Some people think I'm 6'1", but I'm not gonna lie. I'm 6 foot. I can grow a good amount of muscle. I'm pretty athletic. And I definitely don't have nearly as many diseases as I could coming from a third world nation. With that being said, I could not get that if I even took what he takes. Just because I couldn't do that much of it. That is a ridiculous amount of shit that he's on.
Okay, before I go, I'm going to share one last thing here.
Rich Piana,
this guy, right? Rich Piana, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Well, it turns out that he actually left humanity behind.
Yeah, he died. For those who don't know.
Yeah. It was so funny because that was the meme, right? He kept saying become a mutant, leave humanity behind, and then he actually fucking did it.
Yeah. And people were just kind of like, okay, they had like a watch on and it just kept going. Like, okay, when does he die? Okay, let's see. Stopwatch. 2017.
Yep. He outright said, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill myself doing this shit. I don't care. I love it too much." It's like, okay, pal.
Yeah.
You have fun with that shit.
Well, believe it or not, my second video on my series, and let's end it on this note. My second video in the series where I talked about the importance of taboos and shame was about recreational substances, and I used him and Cali Muscle as oh fuck me, god damn it, Stefan Molyneux, get the fuck out of here.
What's he doing?
No, I'm not pissed at him. I'm pissed that like I was trying to click back to my own screen and the stupid updates got in the way from YouTube. Whatever. Part of it was using steroids and synthol for vanity. How people are avoiding, actually going to the gym and putting in real hard work to be healthy long term. They're just saying, I gotta look good for Rocky IV. That's my best Stallone impression.
Good job.
By the way, fuck you for saying that it's bad to like Nostalgia Critic. If you don't like him, fine, but I do.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, like Nostalgia Critic. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
It's pretty fucking bad.
Oh, I'm talking about his comedy. I liked his old stuff. If you don't like it, that's fine, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. You know what? I've learned too much shit about Doug as a person to like his content anymore.
Oh,
he's a fucking human.
Doug is the Harvey Weinstein of YouTube.
I wouldn't put it that fucking far.
No. I don't mean in the sense of sexual molestation, but you hear, like, at first Medicare came out with it, but then all of a sudden I saw other people, and I found out that Medicare was just scratching the fucking surface. Jim, look up other people's videos. It will make you do a part 8 just because of how insane it is. With like the fucking with like Doug being equated to Tommy Wiseau when it comes to how to manage talent, and fucking Mike Machad not calling a dude out that was not only sexually harassing one of his staff, but they literally took her to a safe house.
Yeah, that was Holly. I think I did 2 videos in this. I'm doing a third. Scrump and I did. No, it was Scrump, Liveth, Lovett, and I. We did a regular dumping with Scrump on it.
I've seen your podcast. You were talking about you were talking on a different time. You were talking about Warski Live. Go ahead.
Yeah. There was. Let me just pull it up here. I'm not gonna screen share or anything. I just want to know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, on dumping with Scrum. Where is it? Fuck. Okay, dumping with Scrum 20. We talk about the hashtag changing the channel and go over the bits of the manifesto. On dumping with Scrump Live 2, we actually got a guy who worked as an extra on one of Brad Jones's movies.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and he told some stories about what it was like working with these guys, because he also worked with Linkara and he worked with Doug. Yeah, he told some stories. And actually, tomorrow on Dumping with Scrump Live, we're getting Iron Liz.
Oh, so extra.
Yeah, extra.
For those who don't know, look up what Linkara was looking up on Pornhub.
Yeah, not just that, it's also his story of or have you learned your lesson?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, and Latza was a fucking riot. Did you hear about Latza, the guy who reviewed board games?
No, actually.
Oh, he actually, I kind of felt bad for it. It was kind of it was more of like a cautionary tale. But look at Latza Sand Niggers. It's wow. It's I think you can already tell where this is going, right?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. He was basically the biggest fanboy of that guy with the glasses ever. Oh boy, we are going to get DMCA'd 100 times over, even though this is a stream and we're not even playing other people's content right now.
Yeah, it'll be okay though. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh yeah, because if all else fails, I have a job.
I don't. I do my channel now.
Oh, well, here in Canada, I'll see if maybe the company I work for has things in Toronto or Ontario in general. Just yeah.
Okay, I've got to take off though, man.
Yeah, we got to get the fuck out of here. We keep extending this goodbye. So long, farewell. Try to work out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right, man. Have a good one, and thank you for coming on. And next time you're on, let's try to keep it to Canadian politics.
Yeah, sure, no problem, dude.
All right. C'est la vie.